Across the United States, school districts are increasingly banning books that address race, gender, trauma, or marginalized experiences. These trends raise urgent questions about who decides what young people are allowed to read and learn. One of the most well-known cases around occurred in 2022 when McMinn County School Board in Tennessee removed Mouse, a Pulitzer Prize-winning Holocaust graphic novel by Art Spiegelman. PBS NewsHour, a respected national journalism program known for fact-check reporting, documented the controversy in detail. Around the same time, Amanda Jones, an award-winning Louisiana librarian and president of the state's Library Association, described facing harassment for defending students' access to diverse books in her memoir, That Librarian. Nationally, PEN America, a leading nonprofit that tracks censorship and defends free expression, released data showing that book bans are escalating across the country. Together, these sources make clear that book bans are not isolated events, but part of a broader movement to reshape education around ideology instead of truth. Modern book banning, seen in the censorship of Mouse and the pressure placed on educators, threatens honest education by replacing historical truth with political discomfort or comfort. The banning of Mouse demonstrates how attempts to remove discomfort from the classroom often result in erasing vital historical understanding. Art Spiegelman, an acclaimed cartoonist and the first and only graphic novelist to win a Pulitzer Prize, reacted strongly to Tennessee's decision to remove his book. In an interview with PBS in 2022, Spiegelman criticized the ban as misguided, but in another conversation he went further, stating, "I think it's part of the dangerous and perilous times that we're living in, turning this into an issue of parents' rights rather than an issue of education." Meanwhile, PBS NewsHour reporting showed that school board focused on minor concerns such as a small image of a non-sexual nudity, ignoring the book's educational value by presenting a sanitized reason for censorship. The school board framed a historical text as harmful simply because its portrayal of the Holocaust is honest. Spiegelman's comments exposed a deeper motive, ideological policing, disguised as concern for students. Thus, the Mouse ban reveals how censorship undermines education by prioritizing adult discomfort over historical truth. The experience of librarian Amanda Jones shows how book bans target not only literature but also the educators who defend students' rights to read. Amanda Jones, a nationally recognized librarian and advocate for intellectual freedom, describes in That Librarian how she was attacked online in her community for opposing efforts to remove books about LGBT identity and race. Her professional qualifications, years of service, awards, and leadership roles make her a credible witness to how censorship operates. Jones' harassment echoes Spiegelman's warning that book banning is linked to political movements that target stories about marginalized people. Jones' testimony reveals that censorship works through intimidation, by threatening librarians, communities, pressure schools to remove controversial titles prematurely, even without formal challenges. Her story proves that book bans reshape the educational environment long before a book ever leaves the shelf. National research confirms that these incidents are part of a coordinated movement rather than isolated local disputes. PEN America, a respected human rights organization founded in 1922, published The Normalization of Book Banning, one of the most comprehensive analysis of the U.S. censorship trends. Their research shows thousands of removal with most challenged books dealing with race, gender, or LGBT experiences. PEN America attributes these bans to organized political groups, new restrictive state laws, and pressure campaigns encouraging schools to remove books before complaints ever occur. This institutional research supports Spiegelman's observations that censorship increasingly targets non-gender normative people's books and validates Jones' experiences with community-driven pressure. Taken together, the national data makes clear that Mao's ban is one piece of a larger and growing effort to reshape educational content across this country. Ultimately, the rise of book banning exposes a national struggle over who controls knowledge and whose stories deserve space in the classroom. From Art Spiegelman's an internationally respected Pulitzer Prize-winning author, warning that censorship is turning education into a battleground of dangerous and perilous times, to librarian Amanda Jones' first-hand account of intimidation and harassment, to PEN America's data showing thousands of titles targeted across the country. Each source shows how censorship threatens the most fundamental principles of public education. These perspectives reveal that book bans are not about protecting students from harm, they're about protecting adults from discomfort. When schools remove texts that confront racism, genocide, or LGBT identity, they're not shielding young people, they're denying them the tools to think critically and empathetically about the world they already live in. Censorship does not simply simplify learning, it impoverishes it. It narrows students' ability to understand history, recognize injustice, and imagine a future more inclusive than the past. Defending books like Mao's is therefore not just about preserving literature, it is about safeguarding the freedom to learn and the humanity of the students who inherit these stories. If we allow political discomfort to replace historical truth, we risk raising a generation that is unprepared for the world that, in Spiegelman's words, is barreling at them. Protecting the right to read is protecting democracy itself, and that responsibility belongs to all of us now.